Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. How are you? How are you? I am pristinely on time. I'm immaculately on time. I've achieved temporal perfection. There is no late. There is no early. There is only on time. Oh my gosh. Hey, what's up? How's it going, guys? We've got what I call a tired show, which is where I am exhausted and I can't even figure out why. All day I have been dragging. It's like dragging my face across sandpaper or whatever. I am just worn out. And I didn't even do anything. No, I didn't skip combing my hair at the back. It's just, you wonder why I cut it short like some sort of Nazi or whatever. It's because when it's not short in the back, it goes straight up. Straight up. So anyway. So I've been just battling fatigue all day, which is fine. It's part of life as a narcoleptic, but man. Woo! Okay. So we have a couple topics. You've been messaging me? Oh, what? What now? Oh, goodness. Okay. I'll be right back. See what happens? Do you see what happens when I start on time? Do you see what happens? Absolutely ridiculous. I start on time and then the kids ruin it. These damn kids. Oh my gosh. Okay. So. Well, you tried to stop me from starting. I didn't want to stop from starting. I wanted to be on time for once in my life. Why would I drink a beer? I hate beer. Okay. All right. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about today. Before Lady Raggets ruined my timeliness. Absolutely destroyed my timeliness. We've got Commissar Fauci. Commissar Fauci issuing edicts. We've got that. He's out there. We'll talk about We'll talk about what's going on with Fauci. We'll also delve into a presumptive president-elect in training, Joe Biden's recent what was it? He had a little guy on his COVID board that came out with some statements about how to fix the economy. This is a doctor, right? It's a medical doctor, not an economist, but a medical doctor talking about how lockdowns will fix the economy. We'll talk about that. We may watch a little Trump clip from his address at the Rose Garden today, and talk about some things he said. Not all of it. I think the whole thing was like 30 minutes. We're not going to do all of it. But we'll talk a little bit about it. I'm not 100% convinced that Trump lawyers got bullied and quit. I mean, yes, some lawyers have withdrawn from representation. The stories for each of them will be different, I'm sure, but some of them are withdrawing because there's just nothing left for them to do. Trump suffered several court defeats today. We'll talk a little bit about those. And then, yeah, we will talk about here's how Trump can still win. And if you don't get that joke, well, it's a joke a little bit. It's a little bit of a joke, but it's the continued blackpilling about this election and resistance to the hype machine. And I figure since I'm always wrong, the trick will be if I just tell you the most likely outcome, and then it can be wrong, and that'll be great. That'll be great. But his odds of prevailing are falling faster than Lizzo doing a pole dance right now. So that's a mess. It's a mess. And then we will be talking about refunding the police in Minneapolis. That will be the close up. I don't know if you guys know this, but Minneapolis lost a lot of police officers due to defunding. And also, everybody who employs them calling them garbage. That builds on attrition. I don't know if you know this, but if you hire someone and then you routinely tell them that they're trash and garbage and try and say they're racist murderers, like eventually they just go, I could just go work mall security somewhere or something instead. And depending on the mall, might actually get paid more. So, I'm gonna leave. So Minneapolis is dealing with the fallout from that, which we will discuss. We will discuss how that is going in the Twin Cities and in Minneapolis specifically, as we round out the show. Okay. So that's what's a mall? A chopping mall. A chopping mall. So that's what we'll be talking about today. I hope you're looking forward to it. And hopefully soon we can kind of get onto some different topics. The election is you guys said my hair was sticking up, but man, it's like sticking up and out. I hate it. This is your fault, stream. You did it. So anyway, I'll just only have my head turned this way. Now my hair is perfect. So, you think this? Oh, Baneling, you naive, sweet summer child. At least my country has running water. All right. So we'll be we'll be going through all that. That's what's up. We're going to talk about, when we get into Trump stuff a little bit, we'll talk about some specific states and problems that they've got in those specific states. And again, I mean, there's still, I mean, I watched a video today, Dr. Scott Hurley or something. What was this dork's name? See if I can find it real quick. Who's this guy? Who is this guy? Where did it go? Dr. Steve Turley, not Scott Hurley. Scott Hurley and Steve Turley are not really that close. Dr. Steve Turley's video today, I mean, 700,000 views on that thing. Well, 660,000. And yet, it's full of nonsense. It's nonsense. This is the problem. This is the problem that we have going on. None of this stuff is manifesting in their damn lawsuits. This is, again, and what I was warning about. It's really pissing me off. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be in a bad mood. I don't mean to be a doomer. I don't mean to doom pill the stream. But, John Doback. Oh, did you hear that from Uncivil Law's stream today? That this chat was a lawless wasteland? Yeah, there's one rule, and it's no spamming, because that's just irritating. But yeah, other than that, it's basically lawless. So, welcome to the chat. Enjoy, have fun. But we'll get into this. Let me get stupid Fauci. That's the one. Fauci. Here we go. We'll read this from the Washington Examiner. Oh my God, the formatting on this is garbage. Why can they not just format? I'm not going to do it. We'll read it from New York Post instead, because they can actually format their webpage a little bit. Okay. Oh, we can listen to it. This will be good. Let me get the headphones on. Blaine Cooper, are gamer words allowed? You know, I don't stop them. YouTube probably does. But, you know, what you type is on you, man. It's not on me. So, I'll try not to laugh at whatever gamer words you pick. How's that? And then we'll do super chats in just a second. I want to get started on this topic though, because this is where we're at. And here's the trick about where we're at and why this is important. The presumptive Biden administration is going to triple down on this sentiment. And that's not like a conspiracy. That's not like a right-wing talking. That's them. That's them saying it, okay? This is them saying it. And this is what we got to look forward to for the rest of the time. What? Whoa, what? Wait, what? What am I? What was that? Oh. No, guys. Mods, what are you doing? Okay. That's not supposed to be. It's just spam. It's just spam, mods. Stop. Stop it. Oh, I don't care what he said. Why? Ah! Okay. God damn it. Okay, anyway. Anthony Fauci's new COVID-19 guidance. Do what you're told. Oh, I gotta make sure I've got the right, gotta make sure I've got the right. Life is such a weird place. It's so weird. It's so weird. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, you're about to get a message on Discord. Okay, whatever.
So now to Dr. Fauci and my brother Adi.
Oh, good. Yay. Oh, take your masks off now.
Countries now that hold up as models for, pretty good response to this.
The answer is...
Hold on just a second. Just a second. So they're all wearing their masks. They get to their chairs, and like magic, COVID doesn't work in a chair. It doesn't work from chairs. That's why we know, that's why we know that it's, Look, if you're sitting down at the restaurant, it doesn't matter. Then you can take your mask off. Well, I mean, come on. But these two, why even wear the mask? So they, well, we got to do. It's all show. It's all show. It's stupid. I hate it. I hate it. Stop lying. Just either wear the mask or don't. But if you're not in danger, like, okay, I accept that neither of these guys have the coof. Neither of them are going to give each other the coof sitting across the room, right? I get it. They don't need to have the mask on at the start. We know that you are taking precautions. We can't go into Walmart without a mask. We know that you idiots doing an official public broadcast are doing everything. We got it. Just stop. Stop. Or wear the mask. One of the two. Why aren't you wearing the mask? Oh, because it's hard to see. We know. We're dealing with this stuff every day.
Is yes, but right now it seems that every country is suffering.
Yeah.
We are often compared.
Every country's suffering. Just all of them. Yeah, they are. No matter if they have mask mandates or not. It's all about the same, too. It's weird. It's weird. It's almost like there are other factors than the social distancing rules you're imposing. But I don't know. I'm not a medical.
With countries.
I can't really turn up the audio. Oh, wait. I lied. Nope. It's maxed out. Oh, it's slightly here. There, I can give it a little boost. A little boost. There we go.
Countries that are not comparable to us. We are not a little island of 5 million people that we can shut off. We're not a country that would accept if a ruler tells us, you must do this. I was talking with our UK colleagues just...
Wait, we're not a country that would accept if a ruler tells us, you must do this. Okay, remember that, I guess.
Today, who was saying the UK is very similar to where we are now in outbreak because each of our countries have that independent spirit, but we don't want to be told what to do.
I mean, the UK? Really? we're gonna suggest that the UK hasn't had that spirit broken into several pieces and rammed right down their throats? The UK? Okay. Oh, man.
Well, I understand that, but now is the time to do what you're told. And I think it really is something that we should be doing right now. If you look at it, we have
There it was. There it was. It's time to do what you're told. It's time to do what you're told, peasant. Do what you're told. Are you guys ready to do what you're told? Like, if you just do what you're told, then everything will be fine. That's how this all works. Just do what you're told. This is coming. This is coming. Americans voted for this. Like, this turned up is what they're talking about. This is what is on the way. Special delivery. Oh, I can't wait for the next 4 years.
Infections in the United States, almost 250,000 deaths.
From what demographics? Like, I'm sorry, but at some point we have to address where the deaths are happening and whether or not, and this makes me cold, I get it. I get it. I'm sorry. But freedom isn't security. It's the opposite. It's risk. All right? Liberty is risk. It's a scary thing. Yes, you allow guns even though someone might shoot somebody, including you. Because liberty. At some point, we gotta ask, what damage are we doing other than COVID in the effort to combat COVID? But we've got a fundamental perspective difference on what the damage is. And that's part of the problem. A fundamental perspective difference. And that is, if I say that I don't like that the general populace is becoming complicit with government edicts that are unconstitutional, the government's perspective, so I say that's a bad. The government says the general populace is becoming more complicit with our edicts, whether or not they're constitutional. That's a good. That's good for the government. Government loves that. Government wants more control. It's a necessary entity. We live in an adversarial relationship with our government. That's why the government loves symbiosis. That's why the government loves the symbiotic, codependent relationship of its citizens with its money. Even though it's the citizens' money already, they just took it. Like, the U.S. doesn't make something. The United States of America, the entity, doesn't make a thing. A bunch of people in the U.S. do. So you just took the money and then you used it to buy symbiotic compliance from someone else. Look, if you just do what you're told, you get your welfare benefit. You just don't work over a certain amount. You just don't do this. You just do fill out this form. You just do let us intervene in your life in various ways, and then you get it. Then you do what you're told. You get your little dopamine hit from the government. That's how it works. And they buy that influence. They buy it directly using money that they took from someone else who did what they're told. But they see it as a good, whereas I see it as a bad. So we're going to have a fundamental difference of opinion about what it is. Guess what? Guess what the media sees it as? Oh, my God. Oh, thank God. Now you can go suck his penis. There you go. That'll be great. Oh, did I mention I'm in a bad mood? A bad mood. Never stream when you're angry. I'm always angry. Okay, so here's the news story. Here's the news story. Dr. Anthony Fauci has new coronavirus guidance. Do what you're told. In an interview Thursday, the coronavirus task force member and infectious disease expert. He's the expert. You know, they've been talking about Trump or whatever, right? Like the narrative for weeks. Because the election, the narrative for weeks has been that Trump's handling of coronavirus was terrible. This is the guy right here. He's the guy who told us how to do it. He's the guy they've been listening to. That's the guy that the whole media and everybody's been blaming Trump. Trump's just listening to this weirdo. This is the guy. Oh my goodness. In 1 second. So now he's like, do what you're told. We kind of have been. Oh, Siren, I thought your message was going to be something way different. I'll talk about it in a little bit. But this is the thing. This is the problem. We have a disconnect going on again, a different disconnect. One that says Trump bad, handling bad. But the guy handling it, they're still giving him airtime. And the Biden plan's the same thing. Just with more doing of what you're told. All right. Yeah. He pushed back on the notion that scientists were authoritarian for promoting strict lockdowns and social distancing measures. What would be authoritarian about saying do what you're told? Why would anyone suggest that locking people in their houses, telling them they can't have Thanksgiving with their families, and that Christmas is canceled after they already canceled Halloween and everything else and 4th of July? Why would anyone think that's authoritarian? I can't figure it out. I don't know what people are thinking. That's not authoritarian. Just deciding how many people you can be around, or what store you can go to, or what time you can do your shopping. Hey, did you ever consider that some people work third shift and they can't do their shopping during the regulated acceptable hours where COVID goes into hibernation? Like, does anybody figure that out yet? Like, what if you work third shift? You don't get to go to a restaurant anymore in Minnesota because all restaurants have to be closed at 10 p.m. So they open at lunch, they close at 10 p.m. You're at work the entire time. So you're effectively told you can't go eat. Can't go out and relax. Gotta push back on the scientists being authoritarian. But the 79-year-old, whoa, better not catch COVID, suggested the American spirit of independence had gotten in the way and the nation needed to follow their orders, whether they liked it or not. Okay, we saw his quote. I can understand that, but now it's time to do what you're told, he said, as first reported by CNBC. Longtime director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases has repeatedly clashed with President Trump and his administration, who have dismissed him as a bit of an alarmist amid the pandemic. Fauci said Thursday it was unfortunate that America's scientists had been lumped into politics. Oh, yeah, it happened now. They just now got lumped into politics, guys. Climate change isn't a thing that's existed in the media forever. Like, only now have we injected politics into this sacrosanct secular world of science. And that people were unwilling to follow their guidance because society was so divisive. All of a sudden, science gets caught in a lot of this divisiveness. Fauci, Fauci, have you heard of Galileo? If you want to know how long it's been since science has clashed with politics, just ask my man Galileo how it's going in the tower. It comes as public health officials and the Trump administration grapple with how to combat new record numbers of daily coronavirus infections. You're testing more people than you've ever tested. You're gonna have, they're not new infections. It's not an increase. They were already there. You actually told us the whole year that there were more cases, that there's like I don't know, I'm not a stats. One of you out there is a statistician, right? And like there's the A number, the B number, which is like the tested and confirmed rate. And then there's the C number, which is the inferred infection rate. When you extrapolate out that you're only testing a percentage of the population, it's not a linear equation because you're testing a particularly high risk group of individuals, either people who travel a lot or who are likely to have contracted the disease or who are exhibiting symptoms. But so then you have some sort of regression model that corrects that out a little bit. And then you have this implied infection rate that is astronomically higher than the rate that we see. Well, we're just biting into that more and more now, logically, because we're testing more and more people. It's obviously going to happen, but it doesn't mean that there's an actual increase. We've had, as far as I've seen, no meaningful reporting on an actual acceleration of infections, just an acceleration of reported infections. And those two numbers can be disparate. Elon Musk claimed he just took 4 COVID tests, 2 came back negative, 2 came back positive. Seems like more false negatives. Guys, I know someone who tested both positive and negative within 2 days. Positive test, 2 days later, negative test. Which one is it? Which one is it? Daily U.S. cases topped 150,000 for the first time Wednesday, while hospitalizations have also hit another all-time high. Okay. Good. Here's the thing. Are the hospitalizations necessary? Are they crippling the hospitals? Second question for the hospital follow-up. If the hospitals are hitting capacity or going beyond capacity, is it because of the beds being taken, or is it because of staffing issues? Those are different things. Because I was reading in Minnesota about how they're having trouble with hospital beds. But that's because of staffing issues, not because of hospital space. Fauci said the nation could avoid another round of economically devastating lockdowns if people simply washed their hands, wore a mask, and remained socially distant. Could we? Really? Really? That's an alarming statement. That's all you got to do, guys. Just wash your hands, wear a mask, and remain socially distant. Well, if that's true, then why are you locking everything down? Why is my governor closing bars after 10 p.m.? Because remember, COVID hibernates during the day. So only does the COVID zombie come out after 10 p.m. 10:01 comes out. Everybody's coughing into everyone's mouth. It's like a disgusting viral orgy. Yeah, that's how it goes, right? But if all we have to do is wash our hands, wear a mask, and remain socially distant, but that's not all we have to do, is it? We have to do what we're told. Those mask mandates don't seem to be cutting down infection numbers. Has anybody else noticed that, by the way? So they have some sort of fetish about shutting things down and reopening it or whatever. But one thing that's remained consistent in almost all of the states is the mask mandate itself. Like whether or not you are actually constrained to your house or prevented from going to a particular establishment. In basically every state, there's an indoor mask mandate. There's a couple that might not have it. But even in the states that don't have it, in the major cities, there still are mask mandates. So what the hell? How do infections keep growing if mask use is mandated and it's effective? I don't get it. I don't get how we're supposed to keep accepting this stuff just with unquestioning non-thought about it. Like, if the masks were working, you'd think that with the mask mandate still being, months of mask mandates now. And even beyond the governmental mandates, you have private mandates. You can't go into a Walmart in this country without them telling you to put on a mask, or a Target, any big company. Big corporations, mask up. Mask up, peasant. You can't go in. They will actually tell you, no, you got to wear a mask. You don't like it? Do our online option. Online order. You don't have to wear a mask for that. Someone will walk out and you cough at them through your window. That's fine. So they'll actually do it. So even if there's not a mask mandate, at the big companies, you still got it. The big stores. How is it not working if it's supposed to be effective? I don't get it. I don't get it. No, I get it, right? Like, I understand the reality. I don't get how we're supposed to keep taking the talking point. So don't confuse me, I guess, with what I'm saying here. It sounds simple in the context of this ominous outbreak, but in fact, we can turn it around, he said. Can we? Objection. Fauci assumes facts, not in evidence. You haven't turned it around. Nothing you guys have done has demonstrably turned it around. In fact, all I get is reporting on how it's getting worse. And I can't figure out where their optimism is coming from. Like, it seems to be better. Generally, less people are dying. There's more infections. But they're talking about turning it around, but in every news story, every single one, it's worse. More infections, more everything. How are we going to turn it around then? What magical switch is going to flip where suddenly, it goes away? I don't know. I don't get it, and I'm sick of these people. I'm sick and tired of these people trying to dictate everything. It's mind-blowing to me. But all right. Let me do a couple of these super chats. Let me do a couple of these super chats and then we'll get back into it. What happened here? What happened, YouTube? Stop messing with my things. Okay. All right. Brandy Wright says, well, rackets, it happened. I am now one of thousands of people who caught the coof, and I've done everything they've told us to. Mask, sanitizer, washing hands, didn't matter. Look, you got to do what I do. Lick your hands clean. Borrow other people's masks. That's it. Touch everything. Pray for my husband and me. First, super chat. Hey, Brandy, thank you. Thank you so much for contributing to the show. I love it. Happy to have you here. I do pray for the health of you and your husband. I really do. I hope everything's great for you. I hope you're in the 99 point whatever percent and not the not the minimal percentage of people who are truly at risk. And I hope you don't have the non-death severe symptoms as well. I really do. I don't want anybody sick. I really don't. And I hope everything goes well for you. But I also, this isn't a but to you. You didn't say anything about this. This is the problem. I can't find the legal grounds or the constitutional right or anything for government to protect you from a virus or an infectious disease of any kind. I can't find it. That poor woman is probably too dead to hear you read the super chat. Oh no. Oh, you're right. It is a fast acting killer. Sakaki Onsai. Good evening, Rackets. I helped phone bank for 2 Korean American lawmakers, Young Kim and Michelle Park Steele. Look, Sakaki, I saw Young Kim won. Okay, Michelle Park Steele did as well in Orange County, California, and they are now U.S. Congresswomen, good women, likely related to roof Koreans. Peacock! Sakaki, good job. When I saw that Young Kim won, do you want to know what my first reaction was? I had never heard of Young Kim. I don't know anything about her at all. I said to myself, this is like 15 minutes before the show. I went, Young Kim. She has a rapper name. That's great. I bet she has a fire mixtape. That's my deep thoughts on Young Kim. Tell her congratulations from me. I appreciate the effort of flipping seats in Orange County. That's great. And I hope she does good things in the House. Floofy Cat says, hey, Nick, thanks for the late night fun. Hey, you're welcome. Ooh. Question, do you think a Biden-run DOJ will resurface the drop charges against General Flynn? You think Judge Sully planned to run out the clock on a Trump presidency? Yes and yes. Yes to both. Literally yes. That's going to happen. You know what we might do? I might throw in the wild card of watching Ted Cruz question Andrew McCabe. He did this a couple days ago. They had a 6-hour Senate hearing with Andrew McCabe, and it's infuriating. It's infuriating to listen to this idiot. It's just yeah. Yep. So we'll probably do that. It's only like 11 minutes. It's only like 11 minutes, and oh god. Mither Nemmer says, wait a second, are you telling me that it might not be a good idea to 1, talk about defunding the police, and 2, actually defund the police because they'll quit in droves? Fetch my smelling salts. Shocked, I tell you. Shocked. Also, yeah, I think we will watch that Cruz clip for the simple reason that Ted Cruz, again, it doesn't matter what you think about him. The last place you want to be in a legal issue is under cross-examination from Ted Cruz. He's brutal. He's brutally good at it. It's fantastic. Wolfrunner999 says, hey, Nick, sorry for not being around on live stream. Been home local doing a house remodeling, working part-time job to stay financially stable, so could not donate more than the sub, but it's finally over, so hope to be around more. Hey, Wolfrunner, never ever apologize for not giving me money, please. There's very little in this world I feel bad about. That's one of the things. I am very appreciative. I'm glad to have you here. Absolutely. Always take care of you and yours first. Please, please, please. That's the like I will call people fat to their face and not feel bad about it, but people apologizing for not giving me money is like, oh god. Random Blaze says, it seems like the U.S. Army raided and seized a server farm in Germany from the company Scytl, SCYTL, which handled the Dominion voting machines for extremely compelling data on vote switching. The plot thickens. It doesn't thicken though. It doesn't thicken yet. It might. Right now you have the potential of molasses, but really what you've got is nothing. Because all of the tweets in the world about this stuff, like there's nothing there until it's actually there. There's a lot of hype. There's a ton of hype But if you look at the lawsuits, I mean, in Pennsylvania, they're arguing over like 2,100 votes. Great, 60,000 to go. And every vote does count. It does, but man, it's not manifesting. It's not showing up. We'll see how the Georgia recount goes. That's what we need to actually have happen is recounts and audits. My fear is that people aren't going to have any faith in the recounts and the audits because of all the hype. The Big Kusa says, Nikki, the end game for everything is us losing our individualism and becoming systematically engulfed and infulged. I think he means engulfed, but maybe infulged. That would be a cool word if it's real. Into a hive mind. The world as we know it is becoming weakened by these lizard people trying to claim our humanity. Lol. I love it. I'm with it. I'm with it. Bad Vibe says, COVID tracing specifically, a person who tested positive being in 6 feet for 15 minutes or longer, regardless of mask, according to news video. Okay. CE says, I don't get the mask thing when your skin absorbs moisture, which is how the virus spread, apparently from them, but also from them, the virus is only shooting a 3-pointer into your mouth and nose, no ears or eyes. Look. I won't say that. I won't say that joke. No, yeah. You only have 2 mucous membranes, 3, I guess, if you count each nostril, but 2 in your nose and 1 in your mouth. That's it. There's no other way into your body. How dare you? Synac 8 says, Nick, it's because of those Thanksgiving dinner from the middle of nowhere red states that infects blue states and not because of those mass protests and celebrating Biden parties. Oh, this guy sent a combined chat. He sent it in 4 messages. Empty places. Thank you. Thank you for your donations. I'll read them in order. The first one was blank. The second one says, you're all useless. There's no apostrophe, so it's possessive. You're all useless. Empty places then says, he's making money off of you being mad. I guess that is, I don't know if I'm making money off people being mad, but I am making money off of people donating to me. And then he says, you're still not doing anything, just crying. Well, what am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do? I guess. What? I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not the one crying. I'm telling people to calm down, like, not to get wrapped up in that hype. So I'm not sure what you want. That's the mystery here. Yeah, I'll become president. Yell louder. Yeah! Loud is best. Release the Kraken! Shit on Legal Eagle. I'm thinking about it. Do anything. Empty Places says do anything. What anything do you want me to do? It's not my job to do anything. I'm just here reporting on what's going on and giving you, giving you my opinions on it. Oh my goodness. I can't do anything about it. Like, go audit the vote or something? No thanks. I don't have any interest in that. Oh boy. Okay. And I'll read this one just because it's pertinent. Kimberly Moriarty says, molasses killed 21 people in Boston in 1919. Damn, molasses is savage as hell. Yeah, actually, you probably do want me to do the count. Mr. Ricada, have you turned in the numbers for your precinct? Yeah, just my precinct has 8 million votes. I'm not... I think I'd probably carry to 0 somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. Satan Swing says, did you hear about the Seraphine situation? I think it might be a good video topic about personal representation and fictional characters. No. Who's Seraphine? What is this? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I have been getting messages about Project Melody from someone who has some connection to the Digi guy. So, I don't know. I think they want to come on and talk about it. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to do that or not. It's interesting. Who knows? Not Digibro. The Digi. I don't remember the Digi that did the Project Melody's hentai model or whatever. Skeetney says, Nick, can you story time the book called Irreversible Damage? The transgender craze seducing our daughters. It got all the trans mutants upset. Oh my God. Upset, and they banned selling it from Target. I've never heard of it. Digitrex. We'll see. I don't know. That sounds horrifying. It was 2.3 million gallons of molasses that burst from a tank and went 35 miles per hour. Oh my God. That's horrifying. Okay. I wanted to do, did I save this one? See if I save this. Yeah, here we go. This is on the COVID stuff. So this is the, oh, Jesus. Oh, guys, I got a text message earlier. A text message that said I won a PS5. All I had to do, I was the lucky winner. All I had to do was fill out a 4-question survey and then give them my name, address, phone number, and email address. And then I'd get a PS5 in 5 to 7 days. I think I had to pay them $2. So I'm getting a PS5, right? Because that happened. That's how it works. It was great. I can't wait. They also asked for my children's names and schedules. It was weird. I was like, well, of course they'd want to know when my children would have time to play the PS5. This is a reasonable question. Business Insider is reporting on a Biden COVID-19 advisor suggested a national lockdown lasting up to 6 weeks, but said the idea was unlikely to gain support. Look at this guy. Oh no, this guy's supposed to be telling me about my health now? Why do none of these people look like Chris Evans or something, right? Like none of these guys are jacked, super healthy, in shape people. It's like a lump. A U.S. nationwide lockdown lasting 4 to 6 weeks would help control the coronavirus and revive the U.S. economy. Michael Osterholm, a COVID-19 advisor to President-elect Joe Biden, said Wednesday. Let me remind everybody, Styx Hexenhammer made this point. I made the point. This isn't even partisan. Biden is not president-elect yet. Biden isn't president-elect until the electors actually cast their votes. President-elect as a title matters for a week, maybe 2 weeks in January. That's it. I think it's 2 weeks. I think it's the 6th through the 21st. And that's the only time that the president-elect title is actually real, because the electors have cast their vote and then the president is elected, and then he is sworn in on the 21st. Elected on the 6th, sworn in on the 21st. He's the presumptive president-elect. And that's not about Biden and Trump. It doesn't matter. There isn't a thing that the president-elect does. He's just a guy. He's now Joe Biden. He very likely is going to become president, but he's not president-elect yet because he hasn't been elected. To have an elect, you must be elected first. That must happen. We don't even have certification of the results of votes in several states still. We don't know how their electors are going to go. We don't know the very long shot possibilities that are out there with lawsuits and faithless electors and all of that, which we're going to talk about that in the next segment. Here's how Trump can still win. We're going to talk about all those sorts of theories. And again, if you don't get the joke, well, that's okay. Roll with it. We're going to talk about all that, but until that stuff is done, there isn't a president-elect. It has nothing to do with who you support politically. It's very dumb. Obama started this, where he demanded an office at the White House for the office of the president-elect. That's a weird thing to demand. You're not there. You have no power or authority. You have no business being there until you're sworn in as president. So, anyway, shockingly, Biden is following suit because Biden probably still thinks it's 2008. On Thursday, Osterholm clarified his statement and told ABC News that he had not discussed his idea with the others, and added he did not believe it would be supported by lawmakers. The U.S. is seeing a surge in coronavirus cases again. On Monday, the country surpassed 10 million coronavirus cases, according to Johns Hopkins University. Can someone help me out? Is it 10 million people infected right now? Or is it 10 million cases from the start to now? I don't know what their number actually is, and so therefore it's meaningless to me. Michael Osterholm, an influential from the start. Well, then, we passed 10 million cases. Here's a prediction. They're going to go past 11 million. They're going to get there. They're going to get there. I don't know if it's going to be this year or if it's going to be next year. It's going to happen. What a useless number that is. How many people are sick now? Is that number going up or down? Michael Osterholm, an influential COVID-19 advisor to President-elect Joe Biden. lots of adjectives going on there. Clarified his suggestion for a 4 to 6 week nationwide lockdown in the U.S. to help drive down coronavirus infections was not a formalized nor official plan. Oh, sure. Okay. We'll see. Osterholm, part of the 13-person COVID-19 advisory panel that Biden announced Monday, suggested the idea of implemented several weeks of nationwide lockdowns to Yahoo Finance on Wednesday. Quote, "We could pay for a package right now to cover all the wages, lost wages for individual workers, for losses to small companies, to medium-sized companies, or city, state, county governments," he said. "We could do all that. If we did that, then we could lock down for 4 to 6 weeks." Sure. Just You're running record deficits. You have record low GDP. Next year's revenue is going to be abysmal when they collect on the taxes. We could just pay for all of it. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry. What? Like you could just? Do you know how much that money that is? I have no idea. I have no idea what the public and private sector 6-week cost of the United States is. But it's got to be off the charts expensive. What is U.S. budget by month? Monthly Treasury statements here. Current monthly Treasury statement. October. PDF. Receipts and outlays of the U.S. government. Let's do outlays. Page 11. Because that's what we're... This is just the U.S. government, though. Oh, here. All right. Page 11. If I could count to 11, we'd be there faster. Oh, wait, that's just where it starts. Hold on. We're on several pages here. They've got to have a total. How many pages is this? 40 pages. Okay. Let's see. Total outlays. What is this in? Gross outlays just for the federal government, 563,519. Oh, that's okay. That's billion. Just under $600 billion for October. Just for the federal government. Just for the federal government. For October. That's not the state and county governments. Where's this man's gonna get this money? We could just do this. That's just the government. Okay, so we'll just 600 billion for we got to add 50% to that. So $900 billion. We got to add, I guess, 900 billion for the Fed. It can't be that much. Oh my gosh. The $900 billion for the 6 weeks for the federal government. Then we got to add in the state governments. I don't know, a couple $100 billion more. Who even needs to count at this point? Then we got to add in all the wages, which is, we could do this math. What is gross national income USA? All right. The gross national income as of 2018 is $20 trillion. So, let's calculate that out. We just take 20.84, 840, that's 20 million, billion, trillion. Okay, now we divide it by 365. That's our daily. Our daily cost is $57 billion a day. Now I multiply that by 60. And or not 60, 45. Just 6 weeks. Just 6 weeks. And we come up to $2 trillion. That's just the wages. That's just the wages. Losses to small companies, medium-sized companies are included in there as well. I don't even know how to begin to calculate that, or how this idiot would propose to do it either. It's just $2 trillion in wages alone. Okay, he goes on. He said the U.S. had a big pool of money to help people pay for people's lost wages. This guy is telling us how to run the country. This guy is telling a senile old man how we're going to run the country. We got a big pool of money to help pay for people's lost wages and get the economy back on track during a lockdown while a vaccine was being rolled out. And that a national lockdown would drive down the number of new COVID cases like they did in New Zealand and Australia. Oh, very comparable to the United States. New Zealand and Australia. All right. Let's see. What's gross national income Australia? 1.25 trillion. So 1/20th of the economy, maybe 1/18th. And let's see New Zealand. $192 billion. So tipping the scales at $1.4 trillion versus $20 trillion. Yeah, it's just the same. It's just like they did there. This guy, these people, you think lawyers are bad at math? You think lawyers are bad at math? This guy, I mean, are we kidding here? Mithrin Emrys says, come on, man. Grandpa Joe will tell us all to go into lockdown again, so he isn't the only one hiding out in the basement. He'll only emerge for some hair sniffing and tell us stories about corn pop. He's one bad dude. Digital Zero says, supposedly, U.S. Army seized Dominion servers located in Germany owned by a company called Skydal. Might be something to look into, not sure though. Also got a baby coming in 10 days. Wish me luck. Keep up the good work, Raggeds. Hey, congratulations. I hope everything goes well. You have a smooth delivery and everyone, baby, mom, are healthy and safe. And for all the long nights you're about to endure, just bring the baby. I will soothe them to sleep with my yelling. Okay. Yeah. On Thursday, Osterholm told him that he had not discussed his idea with others. He didn't think it would gain widespread support. It's not going to be supported out of the administration. It's not going to be supported in Congress, Osterholm told ABC News. Out of the administration. Notice what that's an interesting statement. It's not going to be supported out of the administration, meaning it is supported within the administration. But they have a Republican Senate that they're not going to get passed. They know that. And they likely can't push that plan through the House. The administration supports this, is what he's saying. Great. They're insane. They're absolutely insane. The incoming administration, presumptive presidential potential elect Joe Biden. This administration is insane. This man, who he's appointed to help fix the virus problem, doesn't know how money works. He thinks there's just money lying around in a government vault that they can just hand out. It's like, oh yeah, government's got a lot of money. We can do this. You actually can't. You can't afford it. You can't afford to pay back all of the wages of individual workers alone for 45 days. You can't do it. We specifically built a country where that's impossible. Where it is impossible for the government to be able to fund the wages of everybody. We intentionally made a system that disallows that. There's reasons for it. On Friday, Dr. Vivek Murphy, one of 3 co-chairs of Biden's COVID-19 advisory board, told ABC's Good Morning America the U.S. would focus restrictions in areas based on the spread of the disease as opposed to a nationwide lockdown. The U.S. can't do that either. Like, the U.S. can't shut down New York, for example. Only New York can do that. The U.S. surpassed 10 million coronavirus cases on Monday, according to Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. could see 1 million daily coronavirus cases by the end of 2020, according to a new report from Pantheon Macroeconomics released Wednesday. All right. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? We're going to hit a million daily cases now, y'all. Well, the good news is it won't last long. The good news is it won't take very long to get the rest of us. Should we take a peek at this? New report finds. That's based on the current trend of averaging cases rising 34% from week to week. Experts predict this surge could be the largest and perhaps deadliest yet. Oh, okay. The highest number of cases ever recorded in one day this spring was around 35,000, though many went uncounted. Now the U.S. has recorded an average of more than 112,000 daily cases over the last 7 days. Cases reached an all-time peak of more than 132,000 on Friday. So they're extrapolating a linear trend in increase. Or wait, so that'd be an exponential, that'd be a compounding increase, I guess. Yeah, that's a compounding increase week over week of 35%. Man, someone get me that rate of return on anything. The coronavirus has killed more than 243,000 people in the U.S. Remember, Joe Biden promised that many more would die by the end of the year, and infected more than 10.6 million. On Sunday, the number of confirmed coronavirus cases recorded worldwide passed 50 million. In response, some states, including Wisconsin, Nevada, and New York, have imposed restrictions. Mayor Bill de Blasio warned Wednesday that New York City was on its last chance to stop a second wave and said bars, restaurants, and gyms must close by 10 p.m. Wait, it's the last chance, New York. It's your last chance to stop a second wave. If you don't stop it now, you'll never stop it. It's the last one. New York's gone. There's no way they're going to stop it. This is the last chance. What is this? What is this? Oh God. All right. We got to move. We got to move to here's how Trump can still win. We've got to do it. We've got to do it. This is, I'm pulling up now an order from today. This is out of Pennsylvania. This is NRE canvass of absentee and mail-in ballots. November 3rd, 2020 general election. I want you to pay attention to some of the language in this and why I'm doom-pilling on the Trump legal cases, right? Now, this has nothing to do with recounts or audits. Okay, this is specifically relegated to the legal cases. Remember, there's a theory of magical fairy dust going around that the Trump lawsuits are going to get the courts to throw out like entire precincts of votes to come in and declare Trump the victor and all of that. It's possible, but I want you to pay attention to the things that the Trump campaign and their lawyers have said in this lawsuit, because they're in the order, okay? And now to wit, this 13th day of November 2020, upon consideration of petitioner Donald J. Trump for President Inc.'s notice of appeal via petition for review of the decision of the Philadelphia County Board of Elections. This is the fifth one, by the way. All five of them have now been denied. This is the fifth denial. The response of the Philadelphia County Board of Elections and the submissions on behalf of interveners, DNA Services Corp. / Democratic National Committee, and the arguments of counsel. It appearing that petitioner has properly and timely sought review of the decision of the Board of Elections pursuant to 25 PA CSA 3146 G6. So they did it within time, sought review. It further appearing that petitioner is Donald Trump, all right? The Trump campaign, this is the petitioner. It further appearing that petitioner is not contending that there has been fraud. Okay? Do you follow that? The Trump campaign is not contending that there has been fraud in Pennsylvania in their case about the canvassing of ballots in Pennsylvania. That there is evidence of fraud, or that the ballots in question were not filled out by an elector in whose name the ballot was issued. So they're not contending that there's evidence of fraud. They're not contending that the ballots in question were filled out by the person they purport to be. They're not even saying that they have evidence of fraud, all right? This is the problem with the legal avenue that I've been talking about this whole time while everybody out there is jerking off the dream team of lawyers and all these lawsuits. They have a real hard time credibly alleging fraud in a lawsuit because where do you get the evidence for it? We're going to talk about a different case in a little bit. By the way, this is not isolated to Pennsylvania. And it further appearing that petitioner does not allege fraud or irregularity in the canvassing and counting of the ballots. They're not even raising the allegation of fraud in canvassing and counting ballots. And the court finding that the intervener's objection to the consideration of the appeal as an eligibility challenge pursuant to 25 PA-CSA 3146.8 is a mischaracterization of the above reference review and therefore a meritless objection. So they didn't take the DNC's objection. They're literally taking this on the claims of the Trump administration or the Trump campaign. Petitioner asserts a challenge to the decision of the Board of Elections to count the votes represented in the group designated Category 3. But here's the other kicker. Those being 4,466 ballots on which the outer envelope contains the elector's signature and the date, but which do not have printed name or elector's address filled out in the space provided. Okay, so they challenged just under 4,500 ballots with this lawsuit. Even if they won every single ballot and they were all for Trump, doesn't help. Completely useless. The envelope provided to the elector from the Secretary of State contains a direction in the form of a checklist on the back, makes no mention of filling out the date or other information. The election code provides that a voter shall fill out date and sign the declaration on the outer envelope. The term fill out is not a defined term and is ambiguous. Pre-printed ballot already contains the elector's name and address on the pre-printed exterior envelope. Neither a date nor the elector's filling out of the printed name or of the address are requirements necessary to prevent fraud. The petitioner concedes that all ballots by a qualified elector in this category were timely received. So all of them were received on time. And it directs the Court of Common Pleas in considering appeals from the County Board of Elections to make such decree as right and justice may require. So therefore, petition's denied. Yeah. Let's see. But missing the other fill-out information, hand-printed name and address is affirmed as in accordance with the provisions of the election code and the decisions. Wait, so, okay, so the petition is denied. The court further orders and decrees that the decision of the Philadelphia County Board of Elections in canvassing and counting 4,466 absentee and mail-in ballots containing the elector's signature and the date of the declaration envelope, but missing the other fill-out information, is affirmed as in accordance with the provisions. Yeah, so they're saying these 4,466 votes that are missing, they're missing the other fill-out information. They're good. So even though the law says they don't have to fill out, or they have to fill out that information, they don't have to fill it out there because it's elsewhere on the ballot. So these ballots, now they've 5 lawsuits on this issue. They've lost all 5. All right. So this is only one case in Pennsylvania. It's only one. There's a whole bunch. If you want to see, here is here's all this stuff going on. Almost all of these have been thrown out, by the way. So if you're getting your hopes up because there's a bunch of stuff, they've already thrown most of these cases out. There's another problem with Pennsylvania that I didn't which one is this one? This is the Bucks County one. This one is about like 2,800 votes from Bucks County. We don't really need to go through it because it's 20 pages. I don't know, but the it's similar claims to the other one. They're gonna have trouble with it. Here's the real red pill on this. Okay, in 2019, specifically October of 2019, the Republican legislature of Pennsylvania passed a bill taking away the ability to challenge an absentee ballot or a mail-in ballot. I saved a tweet just for this very instance. Just for you guys. Where did it go? Hold on. Let me find it. Go. I'm getting there. Here's a tweet from Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk says, why is the rate of rejection for mail-in ballots 30 times lower than historical averages in Pennsylvania this year? Just 951 mail-in ballots out of 2.614 million cast were rejected. Were they even checking the ballots? No. They couldn't. It was not in the law to allow them to challenge ballots. Because the Republicans in Pennsylvania took it out. They took it out. They took it out of the law. They took it out. Now, maybe you do. See, I didn't know this till I found it, today, doing some research on it. But here's the problem. So on a recount or an audit, what are they going to audit? You can't. They have no fault mail-in ballots. Once they're in, y'all. As long as they came in on time. So, there you go. That's a problem. It's a big problem for the Pennsylvania recount. If we're following along, do I have it pulled up? I don't think I do. Let's pull it up here. Oh, this is not what I want. Oh. This is what I want. All right. I want to point out what has to be done now. This is a real clear politics map. On this map, every state has been called. This is the common map for all of the news sources now. All right. Yeah, sorry. I don't mean to be a doomer. Biden Harris has 306, Trump Pence 232. So the hopeful areas, right, were Pennsylvania, 20 electoral votes, Georgia 16. If Trump flips Pennsylvania and Georgia, Joe Biden still wins. Trump has to flip Pennsylvania, Georgia, and any other state to win. Like Wisconsin, Arizona, maybe. Those are potential avenues. Wisconsin, Arizona are thin margins. Georgia's a thin margin. Pennsylvania's not that thin, but it's not super huge either. But he has to flip 3 states and 3 big states. Can the Supreme Court say to the Dems, you cheated, you automatically lose? No, not really. One, they have to have a lawsuit that says that they cheated. They don't. They don't have it. They don't have one that says that they cheated. That's the problem. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. This is, one second. Whoops. Here's another news story. And we'll be done doom pilling really soon, guys. We'll be done really soon with this. I hate this topic. I hate it right now. It's awful, but I have committed to report on the election fairly and honestly. Which is great. By the way, every time I tweet on it and someone's like, Trump's going to lose and so are you. You got to stop this. And I'm like, man, I'm out here. I could be out doing the rah-rah machine just like a whole bunch of other people, and it'd probably be great. And I could give you I could be leading the charge and grifting all the way, in the most fun way possible, and really just having a drink. By the way, let me start that. A drink and a laugh about it all and say, oh, well, yeah, here, Trump's going to win, all this stuff. And here I am on every show just about saying, this looks less and less likely by the minute. And then people are, yeah, you're just trying to cover for Trump and it won't work. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, let's take a look at this. Trump campaign drops lawsuit in Arizona asking for review of ballots. Trump campaign dropped its lawsuit in Arizona seeking a hand review of ballots cast on Election Day. You heard that, right? You follow with me? After determining that the margin of victory would be too difficult to overcome, CNN reported Friday. The campaign originally filed a lawsuit on Saturday in its pursuit of a review of all ballots cast on Election Day that could have been miscounted by vote tabulation machines. The campaign alleged that the lawsuit could result in thousands of uncounted votes for Trump. But on Friday, lawyers for the campaign reportedly dropped the lawsuit after determining that the president would not be able to surpass the amount of votes cast for Biden. Trump campaign has dropped its lawsuit in Arizona per Scannell. Lawyers filed a lawsuit seeking a review of all ballots cast on Election Day, but dropped it after making the determination that the margin could not be overcome. Multiple news outlets called the race in Arizona for Biden on Thursday after he maintained a lead of 49.4% compared to Trump's 49.1%. Biden's victory marked a historic shift for the typically red state, making him the first Democrat to win Arizona since Bill Clinton in 1996. Only two Democratic presidential candidates have won Arizona since World War II. Victory put Biden at 290 votes, well over the threshold of victory. They filed additional lawsuits alleging voter fraud and irregularities in Georgia, Nevada, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. The campaign is looking for a resolution before the final votes are counted in December. As of Friday, the only two states left uncalled are Georgia and North Carolina. They got called shortly after this lawsuit. That lawsuit was not dropped, says William Barnes. The suit was not dropped. Okay. Let's see. Arizona vote recasting challenge. Let's see. So who's saying it was not dropped? I'm happy to correct that. Where's someone source me on where it's not dropped. Source from Newsmax. Okay, well, let's see. Newsmax, Arizona lawsuit. I'm trying to find the Newsmax story that 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 is what you're saying. Let's see. It's not just CNN reporting that it's dropped. William Barnes, yeah, send me a link. Can you send it to me on Twitter? Would that work? Where you send it to me? I'm very curious to see that it's not dropped. Where's my Twitter? Here we go. Where did my Twitter go? I'll just do a new one. We have more Twitters available. Da, 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 da. William Barnes, where are you sending the link, buddy? Let's see. Newsmax live election coverage. Oh no, I don't want to watch it. Go. Dick Morris to Newsmax says Georgia recount a sham, a hoax, and a fix. Let's see. Here we go. Do we have media.thedonald.win post? Oh god. Okay. Corey Lewandowski just stated on Newsmax the Trump campaign has not dropped any lawsuits. It's being wildly reported that they had dropped a lawsuit in Arizona. Okay. Here we go. Here's the Newsmax story. Trump campaign drops Arizona lawsuit. Let's see. I mean, so I see a tweet about Corey Lewandowski saying it. Here we go. I've got the documents. This is the collection so far. Now, it could be that it doesn't have it. Let's see. This doesn't have the dropping or anything here. So we'll have to see. All right. I've got now conflicting information. I've got Newsmax saying that they dropped it. I've got a tweet saying that someone said on Newsmax that it's not dropped. Okay. So I guess we'll chalk it up as Schrodinger's lawsuit right now. It's we'll see. We'll see. This map has nothing to do with the political makeup. This map is where all the lawsuits are. So, yeah, this doesn't mean Texas is blue as in Democrat. It means that there's lawsuits in Texas over the vote. 6 of them. That's all. Anyway, this is, we'll read the Newsmax story, I guess. President Trump's campaign has dropped its lawsuit challenging ballots in Arizona after it became clear that Joe Biden will win the state even if the suit was successful, CNN reports. They haven't updated their story. Tim Murtaugh, Trump campaign spokesperson, told CNBC that all parties acknowledge that in-person voters who are likely predominantly Trump voters were disenfranchised by having their votes kicked out by the machines in Maricopa County. So for Democrats to celebrate that fact is shameful. We continue to explore President Trump's options in Arizona. Yep. And that is the thing. You know, again, at the end of the day, at the end of all the doom pilling, here's how Trump can still win, right? We have to talk about it. We have to talk about why Trump can still win, because that is the title of this segment. There is, of course, a theoretical possibility that the Trump team will credibly allege fraud in one of these lawsuits. Until they do, though, there is no legal path to victory. They have to do it. Now, it's hard to put fraud in a lawsuit. It's hard to do it. Because our system is antithetical to fraud, to like tracking fraud. It is not how our system works. In fact, here's part of the problem, okay? So down in Arizona, they actually had some hearings. And there was some problems with the hearings. One of the problems was the expert witness for the Republicans was a business partner of the lawyer for the Republicans. If you want to destroy credibility immediately of an expert witness, just mention that he's in business with the guy questioning him. Okay? So, there you go. That's a problem. That was a strategic error. All right? Now, on to those affidavits that came in Arizona in the same case. The affidavits in Arizona. And this is going to sound critical of the affidavits or the affiants themselves. It's not, all right? It's not. This is critical of the ability to bring fraud credibly to the court. They had several affiants come forward and say that, you know, they had their suspicions about their votes not being counted. On cross-examination, they said, but you don't know if your vote was counted or not, do you? He said, well, no, I don't know. I don't know if my vote was counted. Well, wait a minute. That's not good enough for court. You can't say, I don't know if my vote was counted. You have to say, my vote wasn't counted. If your vote might have been counted and might not, you don't have a claim. Like, I'm suing this guy. Why? Well, he might have hit me with his car. You don't know if he hit you with his car? No, I have no idea. I don't know if he hit me or not. Why are we here? And every one of the affiants in this case said basically the same thing. I don't know if I don't know if my vote was counted or not. Because you can't. You guys voted. You went to the machine. You slid the little thing in. Was your vote counted? Do you have any idea if your vote was counted? Do you know? Like, I filled out the circle for Donald Trump, right? I put the machine in the ballot counting thing. It doesn't have like a ticker on it that says how many people voted for Trump and Biden, and it didn't go up by one when my vote went in. I have no idea if my vote was counted. I have no idea if my vote went for Trump. I don't know if my vote went for Biden. I can't go into court and say one way or another, my vote was counted or for what candidate. Can't do it. It's impossible for me to know. That's not a criticism of the affiants, the affidavits, the lawyers. It's not a criticism of any of that. It's a criticism of the system that we have, which so values secrecy, and we like that. We have no verification of whether or not our vote is actually cast. Okay, you got the Corey Lewandowski clip? I'll play it. I will play it. Thank you. Sorry that you're going through all this work to send this stuff in. I unfortunately have to turn off links because of all the China porn that comes in. I mean, not that I'm opposed to it, but it just got really spammy. Poor mods. The mods had one hand on the ban button and the other hand elsewhere with all the Chinese porn spam going on. Okay, here we go.
Corey Lewandowski, senior advisor.
All right, so, well, you said the timestamp's like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. We'll watch the full 4 minute clip. I'm not opposed to it. It just redirected to a tech blog. It wasn't even porn. Oh, I am opposed to it now. Okay, here we go.
Advisor to the president, Trump 2020, and the Trump 2016 campaign manager. Always a pleasure seeing you, Corey. First off, it's our understanding you've been diagnosed with the China virus. You're quarantining.
This is what you have to love about Newsmax. Like, for anything else, this is what you have to love about Newsmax. They flat out call it the China virus. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. More of it, please.
How you feeling?
Chris, look, I feel great, to be honest with you. A little tired. I had a slight headache, but look, I'm going to beat this.
Remember, Corey Lewandowski committed simple battery in the 2016 election by grabbing a journalist, and it was a big hubbub. It was great.
Thing in Trump time, which is faster than regular time, so I'll be back fighting for this president any minute. I'm fighting for him still doing radio interviews, still doing TV interviews. There's no Chinese virus that's going to stop me from fighting for my country.
Hot damn. Look, in Philadelphia, you went there to canvass some of these votes, and you were denied entry. Now, of course, CNN and some other disreputable agencies out there are saying that no Republican was denied access and a visual on these ballots. My understanding, that's a complete lie that's being promulgated by the biased press. Tell me.
Chris, let me tell you exactly what happened. On Wednesday morning, Pam Bondi, the former Attorney General of Florida, and I drove up to Philadelphia. We tried to gain access.
Real quick. He got diagnosed with COVID after doing this, which that makes me sad, right? I'm going to go watch the polls. I'm going to be a good boy and make sure this election's going well. 48 hours later.
The counting room in Philadelphia, which just to give your viewers an understanding of what it looked like. There was an armed guard that met you at the door. Then there was a series of police officers, magnetometers, additional police officers, and then you had to make your way into the room should you have gained access. I tried to gain access. They said no. The following day, with the help of the Commonwealth Court, which is the equivalent of the appellate court in Pennsylvania, I had a judge's order in my hand granting me access and everybody else who wanted to go into that room within 6 feet of all counting procedures. I provided that.
That's not entirely accurate. I want to correct him. He had a judge's order that said that authorized representatives of the parties, which I'm sure Corey Lewandowski is, but not anybody who wanted to go in. Not anybody was able to go in Pennsylvania. You had to have some sort of credential from the party, and there's each state has its own process for registering and tracking who's a poll observer and poll challenger. But just a minor correction. I'm not faulting him for it.
Court order to the chairman of the Board of Elections in Philadelphia. I provided it to the sheriff of the county of Philadelphia and to the deputy chief of staff. the deputy superintendent of police for the city of Philadelphia. All three of them said, We don't care. You have no enforcement mechanism. Go back to the judge and tell him to hold us in contempt. Now, Chris, I've been a police officer. I've been a public servant. Never in my life have I seen the type of complete disregard for an order of the court that I saw in Philadelphia. So there's no
No, come on, Corey. Come on. Don't. I just said I don't have a problem with you in chat. If you're a cop, you've absolutely seen the type of utter disregard for a court order. I've seen it from cops. I mean, this is crazy. It's crazy town. No one likes court orders. No one wants to enforce them. Cops specifically hate enforcing court orders. Don't do that.
The notion that people weren't denied access is a complete fallacy. I was denied access with a valid court order, and then they threatened to have me arrested if I went inside.
Should have gone inside and got arrested. No, and this is bullshit, right? Like, there's no reason he should have been denied access. I believe him. I 100% believe his story. I have no reason to disbelieve it. And that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Okay, what's next?
Wow. Well, so again, we've established that was fake news. Let's talk about CNN. They're reporting the Trump team
fake news.
has dropped
they didn't
lawsuits
do
in
it.
Arizona. Is that true, or is that just more fake news?
No, look, Chris, we haven't dropped any lawsuits yet. The truth is we have a very aggressive case in a number of places, including in Michigan, including in Wisconsin, obviously Pennsylvania.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they've dropped cases in a couple states, not just Arizona. So that's the statement from him.
For the irregularities that we've seen there.
I don't know about that.
We are pleased with the notion that we're having a hand recount in the state of Georgia. It's amazing to me, the fake news media still hasn't called the state of North Carolina. What are they waiting for? We know Donald Trump has won that state. And so we're going to continue to pursue every lawsuit because there's no question there was voting irregularities. Look, I specifically pointed out a woman from Allegheny County in Pennsylvania who died, received the ballot from the county the day after she died, and then the ballot was recorded. When I pointed that out to the media, they said, well, that's just one example. And by the way, how do you know that person didn't vote for Donald Trump? Think about that from a journalistic integrity side.
He's right. He's spot on this. And this is something that the teams need to do, and they need to use it to push for the audits. Although I think they've got the audits in the 4 big swing states. I think they've already got them, so I don't know that it'll be all that useful. But that's where they need to be extra diligent, is in challenging the mail-in ballots for the dead. I think that's a big problem. And we talked about this yesterday. That is a very credible accusation. You can go and verify when someone died. And in most states, you can verify if their vote was sent, when it was received, when it was tallied. You can't see how they voted, but you can see that they voted. So you can match up these things. Research can be done. And this is one of the ways that Trump can possibly overturn some votes. The question is it enough? If you'll remember back to my stream with Adam prior to the election about the Detroit leaks and the training in Detroit, the way to win an election is not to bring in a massive amount of fraudulent votes. The way to win the election by cheating is to have a bunch of different ways and places of small amounts of votes. That's the fraud. That's the effective fraud, is to strategically insert a small amount of fraudulent votes spread out over multiple areas in a particular state. Since the state, like Michigan, for example, is going to... Michigan ended up being a lot of votes for Biden, so let's skip that one. Let's go to Wisconsin. Less than 10,000 votes. All right? Less than 10,000 votes. How many? Let's look at how many voting precincts in Wisconsin. Do we have that? Voting precinct. Voting districts. Oh, these are for representatives. I don't know how to find this. Maybe Ballotopedia has. I can probably check. Well, let's just look at the number of counties in Wisconsin. We'll go by that. It's not actually a perfect method because, so there's 72 counties, all right? Some of those counties are going to have multiple voting precincts or multiple voting places. So it's not a perfect representation. Let's do this. So we've got, let's say 10,000 votes divided by, how many counties? 72? That means you need 140 votes, 138.8 repeating. But on average, you need to inject 140 votes. You have to flip that. Spread out across the whole thing to flip the state. That's not that many. 140 votes in a county or per county is not that many votes. That's how you win an election. It's not by bringing in a truckload of votes. Those are hard. Those are easier to find. It's much harder to track down. You know, you got, let's say you do it by, 70 absentee ballots, 50 dead voters, and then, you know, that's 120, and then you got 20 duplicated mail-in ballots or something. Who knows? Who knows how you end up doing it? Or 20 people to just go and vote in 2 different counties. 140 votes per county. That's way harder to track. Now, play this out legally. You have to sue over the unlawful votes in every county, or in every district, or in every voting precinct. You don't get to just say, I'm suing for all of the illegal votes in Wisconsin. You have to make it, it has to be particularized. And so you have to sue the county clerk in each county for it. Or you try and sue the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of State's going to say, well, I can't oversee every individual operation of every county. That's impossible. Then you have to go after each county clerk. Now that's Wisconsin. Do it in Georgia. But then you take that theory and you apply it to like 5 to 10 swing states. That's what makes this hard to track down. That's what makes the fraud hard to allege in court. Where's it all coming from? That's why when we saw this case, it's 4,500 ballots basically. Maybe some of them for Trump. We don't know. Statistically, there should be at least some in there that are for Trump. Whether or not there are, who knows? If you're cynical, you say no. So that's 4,500 ballots. The other Pennsylvania case was like 2,100 ballots. They have to raise these in every county that they can find them and bring a credible accusation of fraud or impropriety in each one. It's too much work. Can't do it. The system isn't built for it. So when you see me doom pilling on it, it's not that I don't think there's fraud. I've said there's been fraud in every election, especially every election in my lifetime. Absolutely. I think it's ludicrous to assert that there isn't fraud. It's just damn near impossible to track.
I said, I've just provided you concrete evidence of voter fraud. And they said, but maybe they were a Trump supporter. I mean, they don't want to report on what's really going on. We know there was illegality that took place, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, and there are myriad examples of what you just described. And I just would wonder if those people in the press, will you volunteer to have your votes canceled out by fraudulent votes? Corey Lewandowski, sir, thank you very much for the time. As always, keep us posted on what's going on. Coming up, President Trump. Corey Lewandowski,
Oops.
senior advisor to the president.
I tried to pause it. I hit start over. Okay, so there's Corey's statement. So if he says they haven't dropped it in Arizona, again, I have no reason to disbelieve him over CNN. I'll take each of their words at face value. CNN says it's dropped because one person said it's dropped. Corey says it's not. I guess we'll see over the next day when the documents start to filter in, because you can't just quit a lawsuit. You do have to file to withdraw from the lawsuit or to dismiss it with or without prejudice. And importantly, not Trump dismissed a different case in Arizona. The Republicans, though, the Sharpiegate case, they dismissed that case and the Trump campaign refiled. It is possible that Trump is dismissing this case for a different reason than what was suggested. Remember, the suggested reason by CNN was because that Trump is not would not be past the margin of fraud. So their allegations were not sufficient to get past the amount of votes that Biden is leading by. That doesn't mean that they won't bring another suit. If they dismiss it voluntarily, they can dismiss it without prejudice. They can reallege similar things in another suit with new facts, with new numbers. They may also be taking notes from their losses in Pennsylvania, in Arizona, and going, okay, our factual analysis is not sufficient in this complaint. Rather than amending it, let's dismiss the petition. We'll bring it back up. Maybe we need to bring it in a different county. Maybe we need to bring it based on something else. There's a lot of reasons to dismiss a suit, and I'm not giving credibility to CNN's characterization of why the suit was dismissed until I see the order. But I want to point out that, like, whether or not it's dismissed, there can be good reasons to dismiss a suit voluntarily. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the document says. This is the news report of the day, and Corey's out doing damage control on it. And maybe he's right. Maybe they haven't dropped a suit. I think there's plenty of reason to drop the suit and refile. And I would hope that if that was the case, that they would just run with that narrative instead. But we won't know. We won't know. We don't know. This is the problem. Too much information on this subject. Too much information. But here's how Trump can still win. Let's get back to the theme of here's how Trump can still win. They can potentially credibly allege fraud in various states. They can try. You try and do that. It's hard. I'm not being critical of their Fugman. It's not a federal case. This is a state case. A lot of these things you can't bring in Fed court. That's the problem. These are state cases in Arizona. Okay, so here's how Trump can still win. They could credibly bring a case in one or multiple states or in the federal courts to credibly allege widespread fraud. They haven't done it. That doesn't mean there isn't widespread fraud. It doesn't mean they don't have evidence of widespread fraud. All it means is they have not brought evidence of widespread fraud. Okay? That's one way Trump can still win. Another way Trump can still win is through the audit process. Now, I've shown you they have to flip at least 3 states if those states include Pennsylvania and Georgia, which are 2 of the biggest contested states. They need to flip 3. If they don't contain Pennsylvania or Georgia, they may need to flip 4. That's a tall order. It's possible. The margin in Georgia is small. The margin in Wisconsin is small. The margin in Arizona is small. The margin in Pennsylvania is big, but not insurmountable. But let me put it this way. The closest margin, as far as I'm aware, the closest margin in any state, flipping it would be an unprecedentedly high amount of votes swapped for a presidential election in a particular state. I may be wrong on this, and I'm happy to be shown the data otherwise. But I believe that there is no state that is currently within the margin of previous recounts in either direction. So, however, let me buffer that. Let me buffer that with, we have more mail-in and absentee voting, which has the highest propensity for fraud than any election prior. So having an unprecedented flip isn't out of the question. I'm just giving you history. Next way Trump can still win. If they show that the Dominion software flipped votes tangibly in swing states, and if it would change the election, then we have a whole different question. They've talked about it. I've seen it. I saw a tweet. Trump retweeted someone saying 2.7 million votes have been flipped from Joe Biden or deleted or whatever in favor of Biden. Okay. They've talked about it. That's great. They have to bring that somewhere. They have to bring that somewhere, not just on Twitter. And when they do, the analysis could very well change. Very well change. No idea. Can't even address it until they bring it. Okay? Apparently, Vol says apparently there's a glitch in Wisconsin that will flip 19,500 net votes to Trump, almost completely removing Biden's lead. Great. Bring it. Show it. Where is it? Where is it? This is a problem with the glitch. We don't know where the glitch happened, when the glitch applies, if it applies before or after the current totals. We don't know about that. Because we're still going off of unofficial totals. Unofficial tallies in every state. We don't actually have the official tallies because they haven't been canvassed and certified in all of the states yet. In particular, a lot of the swing states. So, that's a possibility. We'll have to see. Another way Trump can still win. These are, now we're getting into real long shot territory, but I want to cover these because people ask about them a lot. All right. Faithless electors. Faithless electors. This is the very real possibility that a sufficient number of people, I shouldn't say real, it's unlikely, very unlikely to do it in numbers currently. Remember, Biden right now is at 306, which means for faithless electors, you need 37 of them to switch. 2016, we had something like 5 or 6 total faithless electors going, some voting away from Trump, some voting away from Hillary. All right. And none of those would have decided an election. That's another important distinction. It was a safe faithless elector vote. But if you have a faithless elector, that is the electors appointed by the state legislatures, typically by popular vote. We'll get to that, add a footnote to it. Typically appointed by popular vote. The electors do not necessarily have to cast their vote in the way the state's popular vote goes. In theory, 37 different electors, like a bunch of California electors, could just decide to vote for Trump. Very unlikely. The electors are typically chosen by the parties. They're party people, and they go in and they vote the way the party wants them to vote. That's how it works. What is not true? That's not a democracy. No, we don't have a democracy. We have a representative republic. Okay? We have a representative republic. We do not have a democracy at all. So, it's possible, but very, very unlikely that a faithless elector scenario occurs. Next thing, a non-faithless elector, however, a different chosen elector than what the popular vote says. This is a different scenario. This is where, let's say in Pennsylvania, the Republican legislature, they lose faith in the vote in Pennsylvania. And they're willing to expend all all of their political capital to pick electors that are Republican. Sidney Powell on Lou Dobbs. Okay, I don't know if I want to watch that right now, but we're in the middle of something. So in theory, a state can go ahead and they can the state legislature can choose the electors that they want. They don't have to follow their own rules about choosing electors. So Pennsylvania says, okay, well, the electors we're going to send are going to be from the Republicans. We vote on it. That's who we pick. That's what's done. Again, that's political suicide. And good luck finding politicians willing to do that for someone else's election. El DeGusto, I'm not all over the place. My opinion is that Joe Biden will end up being the president. That's the most likely outcome right now. So, they go ahead and send electors that are opposite of what the popular vote is in any number of states. Now, again, you have to get 37 electors away from Biden based on the presumptive numbers to change the presidential outcome. Pennsylvania has 20. Georgia has 16. Arizona has 11, I believe. Wisconsin has 11. Michigan has 15, I think. The tall order, but it is a possibility. So we're going to talk about it. If the electors vote for Trump, they win. If they just don't vote for Biden in enough numbers, if 37 votes don't go Biden's way, then, we go to the 12th Amendment. We'll talk about the 12th Amendment because that's a possibility too. All right? The 12th Amendment possibility is that neither person receives 270 votes. This can be through any number of things, including a possibility I haven't discussed. It's possible that some votes are not certified by December 8th. And therefore, if the votes aren't certified and the electors aren't chosen, that the electors simply, for a particular state, simply don't vote. They don't appoint electors, and then the electors don't get to vote. So this would be like, for example, Pennsylvania decides that they're not done recounting or whatever, and they can't certify the vote. Therefore, the legislature chooses not to send electors. The same thing happens in 2 other states. All right. Now you don't have 37 electors voting for Biden. Is it going to happen? Really, really unlikely, but it is a possibility of how Trump can still win. That would invoke the 12th Amendment. If neither person receives 270 votes, here's how the 12th Amendment works. Okay? The 12th Amendment, I keep saying the 12th Amendment. 12th Amendment says if you don't have 270 votes, it goes to the a delegation of states in the House, delegation of states in the Senate. And the House will pick the president. Actually, in the interim, Nancy Pelosi, as Speaker of the House, would become President of the United States for the interim period. And then, until the House decides to choose through the delegation of states, its president. The House is Democrat majority. However, the House would be a Republican majority in delegates of states. All right? So, a Republican majority in the delegation of states. So, the way state delegations work is the state picks one vote. So if you have a Republican majority state, even if there are more Democrats overall, because Florida has a lot, or not Florida, California has a lot of Democrats, New York has a lot of Democrats, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. California only gets one representative for this. So there are 30 Republican states, I believe, and 20 Democrat states. So Trump likely is the winner in that case. In the Senate, it's some similar breakdown, and Pence is likely the vice president. Although it's weirdly possible that you could get a Trump president and a Kamala Harris vice president, which would be comedy gold. Comedy gold to see it, but very unlikely. So that's how that possibility could play out. Again, we're talking every Hail Mary on the planet to get to this stage. And it's very unlikely to get there. It will also cause extreme levels of unrest. Extreme levels of unrest. So, why couldn't Biden be VP? Because Biden won't have any electoral votes for VP. Or he shouldn't. He shouldn't. So, that's how Trump can still win at this point. Of course, if there is some miracle where they've seized Dominion servers and found some direct link of election interference, that they can seriously call the Dominion tabulations into question, all of that goes out the window. They haven't done it, though. They haven't done it. It's very important to keep that in mind as you read all of these news stories and allegations. They haven't done it. And until they do, we can't evaluate the claim. Okay, so Archimedes, you want me to play this clip? I tell you, I'm getting really bad at grifting. Taking these clips from you unsolicited with no money involved. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And making me listen to Lou Dobbs? How dare you? How dare you, sir, make me listen to Lou Dobbs? Oh, God. All right, let's take a gander at this. Meow Day, yeah, we'll be doing Twitch tonight.
Avowal of any claim of fraud against the company, its software or machines. Your reaction?
Well, I can hardly wait to put forth all the evidence we have collected on Dominion.
None of us can wait either. Please do it. Please, for the love of Christ, actually do it. We're running out of time. We're running out of time. You have to do it soon because it's going to have to go through the court process. Do it.
Starting with the fact it was created to produce altered voting results in Venezuela for Hugo Chavez and then shipped internationally to manipulate votes for
Is she having a stroke live or is this just how she talks?
Purchase in other countries, including this one. It was funded by money from Venezuela and Cuba, and China has a role in it also. So if you want to talk about foreign election interference, we certainly have it now. We have staggering statistical evidence. We have staggering testimony from witnesses, including one who was personally in briefings when all of this was discussed and planned, beginning with Hugo Chavez and how it was designed there. And
okay, I hate to be the guy to say that even if it was designed, even if we take at face value that it was designed to interfere with the election results in Venezuela, that doesn't logically necessarily follow that it was then employed to defraud the United States election results. I'm not saying they don't have evidence. I'm saying we need to see it to evaluate it. And this line of argument, it's the same thing I talked about earlier on Twitter, where they said this has been the most secure election in U.S. history. One, that's a laughable assertion for all sorts of reasons. But two, even if it is relatively the most secure election in U.S. history, that doesn't mean that there's not enough fraud to flip it. These statements are meaningless. These statements are pointless fluff. They don't help.
then saw it happening in this country. As soon as the state shut down on election night and stopped counting, Those are the states where the most egregious problems occurred. We also need to look at, and we're beginning to collect evidence on the financial interests of some of the governors and secretaries of state who actually bought into the Dominion systems, surprisingly enough. Hunter Biden type graft to line their own pockets by getting.
See, and she drops the Hunter Biden type, like linking Hunter Biden to this without. They're not alleging Hunter Biden is linked to this. Just want to draw up the negative feelings about Hunter Biden, and that guy's a piece of shit. He deserves all the negative feelings he can get.
A voting machine in that would either make sure their election was successful or they got money for their family from it.
Well, that's straight.
I'm hearing an echo from her. That's annoying.
Forward, it may take.
Here.
You're going to have to be quick to go through and to produce that investigation and the results of it. The December deadlines are approaching for electors, and just as we saw in 2000 with Bush v. Gore, how critical are those deadlines, and how urgent does that make your investigation and discovery?
For fraud this serious, I think even if the states are stupid enough to go ahead and certify the votes where we know the machines were operating and producing altered election results.
The states have no reason not to certify it if you don't present them with the evidence of fraud. Don't call them stupid. I mean, that's not a stupid move for the state. The stupid move for the state is not certifying the vote when there is no allegation, when there isn't an official allegation of fraud yet. That's the stupid one. You've got to bring the evidence to the states. But anyway.
If they're stupid enough to do that, then they will be set aside by the fraud also. I mean, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of votes.
Will they, though? That's not an easy question. That's not a simple question of whether or not a court, much less the Supreme Court, has the authority to set aside a specific state's votes because one party claims frauds, especially when it's been certified and the process for credibly alleging fraud within the mechanism for doing so hasn't been done. That's not that simple of a legal question. Like, we can't just assume that the Supreme Court of a state or even the Supreme Court of a nation has the authority to undo the state certification. Because remember, the legislatures have plenary authority. The state legislatures have plenary authority to choose their electors in the manner that they want. If the state legislature certifies the vote and picks the electors, the Supreme Court has almost no basis for undoing who they pick. She's very likely wrong on this issue. Very likely wrong on this issue.
President Trump won this election in a landslide. It's going to be irrefutable.
He absolutely did not win in a landslide, no matter what you believe. No matter, even if you think he won, he did not win in a landslide, and it's silly to say.
And patriots are coming forward every day, all day, faster than we can collect their information with testimony they're willing to give under oath about how their votes were stolen and how the machines operated. They were updated the night of the election, sometimes after the election. We've got statistical evidence that shows hundreds of thousands of votes being just put in and replicated. It's going to...
And again, I repeat, and this, I'm not going to continue watching this. It's fine. None of this matters until we see it in court. And if there's hundreds of thousands of votes, please bring it in the proper channels. Don't get it dismissed because you waited and sat on it. Don't do that. That's a gamble, by the way. That is a gamble that people have speculated that the Trump legal teams will try, is to sit on the evidence and then try to get the states to not certify it, or to fight for the state Supreme Courts to intervene and not allow certification of the votes and then do that thing where there's not enough electoral votes to go for a particular candidate that we talked about earlier. There's speculation that that's what they're trying. I don't know if that's what they're trying. I have no reason to believe it. But if it is, that's a terrifying plan. Because once a state, she's almost done. Once a state certifies their vote and picks their electors, there's almost no way to undo it.
There needs to be a massive criminal investigation, and it's going to affect millions of voters and elections.
Okay, real quick, on the massive criminal investigation, that's fine. A criminal investigation is unrelated to the outcome of the election, and this is something that people need to start understanding very quickly. Here's a weird, very possible scenario. Somebody gets prosecuted for fabricating hundreds of thousands of votes in favor of Joe Biden. Joe Biden still wins the election, with all of those votes being tallied in his favor and certified. That's a real possibility that people need to go ahead and get in their heads right now, because these things are being conflated. These things are being conflated by talkers. Sidney Powell, or whatever her name is, she knows better than this. Those things are unrelated to each other. Criminal convictions for voter fraud do not overturn votes. Even if they can prove that the fraud exists, they don't overturn votes on their own.
With these
especially if they can't link it to Joe Biden himself or his campaign.
Allegations, these charges, is the FBI already carrying out an investigation of these voting companies where their servers are domiciled, and in at least three instances, we know they're in foreign countries? Tell us where the Justice Department is in all of this.
I wish I knew. I'm not on the inside, so I'm not privy to that information.
She just said thousands of fraudulent votes and criminal investigations, and now she's saying she's not privy to the Justice Department, who would be bringing those criminal claims.
I know that even Democratic senators and congresspeople for years have reported problems with this system to the FBI and to the government, and nobody's done a blooming thing about it. The people in the election security part of Department of Homeland Security need to be fired yesterday. They're absolutely ridiculous. Of course, Chris Wray needs to be fired too, because the only FBI interview of any witness was to intimidate him and try to get him to change his truthful testimony 4 hours by an anti-Trump FBI agent. They still have politics infecting the FBI instead of just following the law.
Yep.
We are on the precipice of, this is essentially a new American revolution. And anybody who wants this country to remain free needs to
What the hell was that?
step up right now. These are federal felonies. Altering a vote or changing a ballot is a federal felony. People need to come forward now and get on the right side of this issue and report the fraud they know existed in Dominion voting systems, because that's what it was created to do. It was its sole original purpose. It has been used all over the world to defy the will of people who wanted freedom.
Zinni,
If that's known, then why did so many states sign on to it? These are states with Republican legislatures, by the way. I'm having a tough time with some of these claims.
Outside of this broadcast, I said that this is the culmination of what has been over a 4-year effort to overthrow this president, to first deny his candidacy, the election. But
that's what I said last night. The real undermining of the U.S. election happened 4 years ago, and it's been going on the whole time. That's the undermining of the U.S. election, the undermining of President Trump. It started back when he was first elected. It's been continuing.
Then, to overthrow his presidency, this looks like the effort to carry out an end game in the effort against him. Do you concur?
Oh, absolutely. And it's been organized and conducted with the help of Silicon Valley people, the big tech companies, the social media companies, and even the media companies. And I'm going to release the Kraken.
Well, good, because this is
You know, Dobbs is trying to figure out what the hell she just said.
this is an extraordinary and such a dangerous moment in our history. I really am very concerned for the country. I am very concerned for all Americans. And I have a feeling that most Democrats are first Americans and not Democrats. They have to be as alarmed as any one of us. Cindy, we're glad that you are on the charge to straighten.
Lou Dobbs is like, I met the Kraken. Good guy. Owes me $20.
Straighten out all of this. It is a foul mess, and it is far more sinister than any of us could have imagined, even over the course of the past 4 years. You get the last word, Sydney.
It is indeed a very foul mess. It is farther and wider and deeper than we ever thought, but we are going to go after it, and I am going to expose every one of them.
That's a big game. Talking a big game. Let's see it. Let's see it. I want to see it. Bring the evidence, please. Do it. Do it. So we know. If it's weak, we can say it's weak. If it's strong, we can say it's strong. Angry Baneling, I don't know if I can do that. I probably will, but I don't want to do it. Okay. Let's see. We got some chats to read. It's getting late. And we got to talk about the refund the police. Does statistical analysis work as evidence in court? Sure. It depends on the analysis. It's there is no like, does this work in court? I mean, yes, it can. Might. Are you talking about the number thing? I mean, is the court going to overturn an election on some weird numbers? No. They're not going to do that. Okay. Let's read this. Clown World. Clown World says, more grift chats for Nick. This is the path to maximum funny if somehow it reaches the Supreme Court, and if, keyword if, there was enough to flip. And the last vote was from Clarence Thomas in Trump's favor. That would be great. That would be great. I hope that's true. I hope that's true. Mithrin Emrys says, am I the only one getting irritated by the robust safeguards help ensure the integrity of elections tag? Where was that tag during the Russia stuff? Yeah, of course, you know, that's the problem we're in. For 4 years, these people have said that elections can be easily influenced and manipulated by Russia, and then suddenly, no, this is the most secure ever. The last one was the problem. We fixed all those problems this time, though. It's nonsense. Bring Kendra on, ask her if woke is good. No, I've not seen the stream by Millie Weaver. I don't even know who that is. Gerard Garvin says, Nick can't lie to us because his nose grows when he lies, and if he lied once more, his nose would be too long for streaming. Nick has a long-ass nose. Yes, thank you. Bad Vibe says, irony, needing discovery to prove an issue, but can't get evidence until you give it. Yeah. Fallout Buzz 34 says, Nick, 1, can they find out which counties lose 20K and 100K amount of votes came from through the electronic system, or find ballots missing numbers in presidents versus senator runs? I found 58,000 missing between the two in Michigan. I hope so. I don't know. I mean, they have the resources, they have the people. We have to see. The question is not can they find it. The question is, will they bring it to court? Will they bring it up? That's the ultimate question there. Will they actually bring this? They have to bring this stuff for us to evaluate it. And for the court to evaluate it, which is more important than us. We're just watching. Thermatius 1980 says, long-time listener, first-time donor. Hey, welcome. Thank you. 1, got a decent paying job, so take my shekels, you grifter. Ooh, thank you. I will. 2, this is why I focus on the down ticket. Biden will get little done with an adversarial Senate. Hopefully. You know, if they stole the election, the presidential election, there's no reason to suggest they won't steal the Senate runoff in Georgia. So, Corey Leon, you know, filing in the wrong court, some of these are really complicated questions. I'm not going to say it's really easy that they should know which court to file in for which particular issue. And lower courts can disagree and be wrong as well. So I'm not going to give them too much crap about the filing, the jurisdictional issues, because those are just tough. And we're in times where, it's not so obvious. It's not so obvious. Someone sent me this. This is a map of all of the states that use the Dominion software. So we've got, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. These are all very close. Wisconsin is close. Minnesota was not very close, but we see them. But we also see a lot of Republican states too. Texas, Florida, Louisiana, Ohio, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. I don't know, man. It's tough. Oh, wait, that's not Nebraska. That's Nebraska. Nebraska didn't. Kansas and Missouri. Oh, geography fail. Good job. Okay, let's, what else are we doing? Oh, refund the police. We'll do this quick. This is a quick story. Did I not? Here we go. This is the last news story we'll do today. And then we'll go over to Twitch and chill out a little bit. Minneapolis violence surges as police officers leave department in droves. Okay. Here we go. Hello, 12229 says this whole stream is grasping at straws. Republicans got nothing. That's what I've been saying for 2 hours. Are you not listening? What the fuck? How does this keep happening? For days I've been playing, all week, all last week, all this week. That's what I've been saying, and people are still like, oh, you just keep trying to make Republicans. No, I'm saying the literal fucking opposite. Jesus Christ. Minneapolis violence surges as police officers leave department in droves. Minneapolis. The sound of gunfire has become so familiar across North Minneapolis that Kathy Span worries she's grown numb to it. Day and night. The bullets zip through this predominantly black neighborhood. Yikes. Hitting cars and homes and people. The scores of victims have included a 7-year-old boy wounded in a drive-by shooting, A woman who took a bullet that came through her living room wall while she was watching television with her family, and a 17-year-old girl shot in the head and killed. Span, a longtime community activist who works for the Jordan Area Community Council, cannot recall another time when things were this bad. Not even when the city was branded Murderapolis during a spike in violence in the mid-90s. Let's see. The police are not as much a presence as they used to be, Span said, noting that sometimes when neighbors call 911, officers are delayed in responding or don't come at all. If you want to talk about pandemics, we're dealing with a pandemic of violence, Span said on a recent afternoon, just as word came of 2 more nearby shootings. We're under siege. You wake up and go to bed in fear because you don't know what's going to happen next. And our city has failed to protect us. Nearly 6 months after George Floyd's death, here sparked massive protests and left a wide swath of the city burned and destroyed. Minneapolis is grappling with dueling crises, an unprecedented wave of violence, and droves of officer departures that the Minneapolis Police Department warns could soon leave the force unable to respond to emergencies. Soon, not already though. Homicides in Minneapolis are up 50%. 50%. Defund the police. 50%. With nearly 75 people killed across the city so far this year, more than 500 people have been shot, the highest number in more than a decade and twice as many as in 2019. There have been more than 4,600 violent crimes, including hundreds of carjackings and robberies, a 5-year high. Most of the violence has happened since Floyd's death on Memorial Day, which some experts attribute in part to the lingering anger over the slaying and the effects of the coronavirus, including job losses and the closure of community centers and other public spaces. It's important to note, this is Minneapolis city limits. Minneapolis metro area is 3.5 to 4 million people. Okay? Minneapolis city limits is 425,000 people. So having 75 murders in a town of 45 or 450,000 is actually a lot. That's a lot of murder. You know, this isn't Houston or Chicago or LA. It's not even as big as Detroit, I don't believe. So we've got quite a bit of a problem. And again, it's up 50% over last year. Minneapolis police say they've struggled to respond. They have faced a surge of officer departures in the wake of Floyd's death and an outcry against the police. In June, the city council majority vowed to defund and dismantle the department and replace it with a new agency focused on a mix of public safety and violence prevention. We'll send out our social workers. They'll solve the murders. A move that could go before voters in 2021. But they already started. Police Chief Madaria Arredondo said more than 100 officers have left the force, more than double the number in a typical year. Yeah, they got to get out now because you got to snatch up the security jobs. They've got to snatch up the private security jobs or move to other forces before there's a real surge when Minneapolis fires everybody, including retirements and officers who have filed disability claims, some citing symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder linked to the protests over Floyd's death. In a recent meeting with Minneapolis Charter Commission, which is studying police staffing as part of the city council's efforts to remake policing, Arredondo told members he'd been forced to deactivate several divisions inside the department and put those officers back on patrol because of staffing shortages. He told the commission the department has about 735 sworn officers, down from the city's budgeted 888 positions. It's cool, though. It's cool, though, guys. It's only, that's only, like 18%. Of which about 500 were on patrol, he said. He warned that dropping below 500 officers on the streets would jeopardize the city's crime response. That he and Mayor Jacob Frey have started to develop contingency plans that would include triaging calls for help. Something he said he believes will erode public trust further. Triaging calls is, we don't show up for your burglary anymore because we don't have time. Oh, your car was stolen? Well, that's too bad. Are you dead or dying? That's the only question. It's creating a police department that I did not want to have, and that's one-dimensional. Arredondo said, our core focus is patrols and investigations. On Friday, the city council voted to allocate nearly $500,000 for the police department to temporarily hire officers from neighboring law enforcement agencies to help patrol city streets from November 15th until the end of the year. Our city is bleeding, the chief told members of the city council on Thursday. At this moment, I'm trying to do all I can to stop that bleeding. But the plan to hire temporary, that's just for the end of the year, $500,000. And that'll fund 30 to 40, I believe, police officers. Remember, they're down 100. That $500,000 that they approved is 30 to 40 police officers. But the plan to hire temporary officers does not address the department's uncertain future. Even more officers considering departing. Ron Muser, Jr., a Twin Cities personal injury attorney, said he represents 175 Minneapolis police officers who have left the force or are in the process of filing disability claims that would allow them to leave their jobs permanently, many citing PTSD from civil unrest. One officer said he's in the process of leaving the force after he suffered physical injuries, including cuts and burns, during the days of unrest after Floyd's death. While inside the city's 3rd precinct building as it was overtaken by protesters and subsequently burned, he recorded video messages to his wife and children because he thought he might not make it out alive. After that, I wasn't me anymore, said the officer, who spoke on the condition of anonymity for fear of retribution. That he had nightmares, he couldn't sleep, he had panic attacks. In training, he had been taught to listen to his body when arriving on a scene, pay attention when the hairs stood on the back of his neck. Sitting in his squad car, he constantly felt physically sick and found himself unable to focus, second-guessing every decision. He later was diagnosed with PTSD and is receiving treatment. I was paranoid. I was anxious. I was depressed. He said, this made me into a person who wasn't good to be a cop. Mauser said his firm recently met with another 100 officers who are considering leaving the force. Remember, he's already representing 175. Now 100 more. 100 more. Some citing mental exhaustion, fears of further unrest, including protests linked to the trial of 4 former police officers charged in Floyd's killing, which is scheduled for March. The officers have expressed a fear that the city will suffer Portland-style riots during the entire trial. You know what? You know your city is a shit-filled dumpster when Minneapolis in 2020 says, at least we're not Portland yet. Oh, man, that's bad. Oh, man, that's not good at all. Whew. Referring to the extended unrest in Oregon City. Low morale is rampant. Muser said, and he expects the exodus could extend to hundreds more officers by summer, perhaps as many as 1/3 of the department's positions. You have a lot of officers come in and say, why am I doing this? They sit there with their spouses and say, is this worth it? No, of course not. Of course it's not worth it. If you don't have the backup of your city council and the populace, no, why would you stay? Wait, what? It's Drexel? This guy is way too short to be Drexel. His shoulders fill the frame. Or don't fill the frame. That's not him. Noticeable absence. Absence of officers has been noticeable, especially in South Minneapolis, near where Floyd was killed. Dozens of Minneapolis residents spoke before the city council last month, many complaining of trauma from the constant gunfire and violence and robberies. Since the unjustified and unfortunate death of Floyd, city council has engaged in rhetoric that has emboldened criminals. This is this is a two-pronged problem, right? You've got cops actually leaving. But the other problem is you've got city council saying that cops are bad and cops are getting defunded and they're not going to be on the streets. But then you've also got them offering guidance to just turn over your wallet if you're mugged. Just give it over. Give over the money, bigot. Said George Sod of Southwest Minneapolis, describing himself as an immigrant and a child of war who came to the city because of its rich diversity. But now Sod says he feels terrorized in his own community, afraid to walk down the street. You guys have had years to address any cultural problems within the Minneapolis Police Department, he said. You failed to do so. Instead, you embark on a campaign against your own police department. fighting and demonizing an entire internal city organization instead of making it better. Based George Sad. Karen Forbes of South Minneapolis told city council members how bullets burst through her living room wall on a recent night, narrowly missing her head. I've relived that night many times, hearing this. Move! Move immediately! Why are you still there? Get a hotel, sell your bullet-riddled shithouse, and move. Get out. I don't care if you can't afford it. Move. Move. Go be homeless in a better city than Minneapolis. It's better than dying in your own fucking house. Move. I cannot imagine still living in Minneapolis. I know people who still live in Minneapolis. I know people who still live in South Minneapolis. Still, and I'm like, oh my God, leave. Come to the country. It's great. You won't ever meet your neighbors. Like many during the hearing, Forbes questioned the lack of police officers on the street and blamed the city council for pursuing what she described as a sociology experiment that obviously doesn't work. She and others called for a surge of law enforcement into the city. But it's not clear that the city can do that. Facing an economic fallout from the coronavirus, Mayor Frey recently unveiled a budget proposal that includes a $179 million budget for police, a nearly $14 million cut from the department's approved 2020 budget. But Frey has asked the city council to fund 3 new cadet classes in 2021. About 104 officers. Yay, new guys! Perfect! Remember? It was new guys, mostly, who were involved in the killing of Floyd. 2 new guys and 2 old guys. Including one to replace the 2020 class scheduled for this fall that was canceled. Yes! Bring in the new. Ray said in a statement, new guys for a new situation. Oh my God. Ray said in a statement to the Washington Post that he remains concerned about capacity challenges facing the police department. He said the new cadet classes would allow the city to bring in new officers who ascribe to our vision for the department. No! No! No, Frey! No! Oh God, I gotta stop. I can't read anymore. He just spelled out the failure. He just spelled out the failure. New cadets that comply with our vision. Our vision of the force. That's all you need to know. There's nothing else to read. Mayor Frey is pro Black Lives Matter, pro Antifa. He hasn't said he would defund the police. He said he wouldn't commit to it. They're done. They're done. What are you going to do? You don't have the cops. You don't have the manpower. They're done. Oh. I'll read this real quick. The city also downplayed police officer departures, presenting staffing numbers that include more than 90 officers who have been on long-term leave and remain on the payroll. Those officers, a recent court filing from the city pointed out, could return to full-time status. Oh yeah, I'm sure after their long-term disability that they're just aching to get off of the free money for not working back into working in a war zone. That'll be great. The problem isn't even the practical ability. The problem isn't even the practical ability of the police to do the work. The problem is that the public, and more importantly, criminal element of the public, have no faith that the police will do it. And that's where the problem is. The whole issue with policing is a big portion of it is based on the faith that the policing will be done. That's the deterrent aspect of the criminal justice system, right? When you see someone else get 50 years for whatever, you go, okay, maybe I don't steal this car. Maybe I don't stab this guy. That's the idea. It's deterrent policing. But if the criminals don't think the police are going to enforce it, what happens? Crime up, 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 up. And that's what's going on today. That's what's going on today. So anyway, I wanted to bring up the city of Minneapolis plagued with defunding problems. Of course they are. Of course they are. They have to be. It's not even the number of police. It's the fact that they've expressed from a governmental perspective a lack of faith in the governmental system of policing. That does it. Kill notes. The movie today is Friday the 13th, part 3, I think. I don't think we watched that one. It is Friday. The show started on Friday the 13th, so we have to do Friday the 13th. So that's the movie. All right, let's do. I'm done doom pilling. I'm sorry. And next week there will probably be less doom pilling. We're on 4. Okay, it'll be 4. 4. Friday the 13th, part 4. That'll be the movie tonight. And there will be a second movie. It will either be Black Shampoo or Hollywood Boulevard. Firehouse was great. Firehouse ended up being great. But today will be Black Shampoo or Hollywood Boulevard. That will be the second movie tonight. I will put it up to a poll in the chat, and you guys can deal with that. But I will be done doom pilling the Republican chances next week, hopefully. Outside, not as many streams on it, unless there's major news. I want to get back to some fun stuff. I want to get back to covering some things. Maybe I'll bring over the Project Melody naysayer who says that that Digitrex or whatever is being unfairly treated. We'll see. All right, let's hit these chats. Let's hit these chats. And by the way, I just have to say, again, I appreciate the shit out of all of you, especially those who support the show monetarily. I never ask you to do it. You guys just keep showing up and doing it. And I can't thank you enough for giving me the best job on the planet. So that's all I got. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And I appreciate it. All right. Night of Hopex says, it's Friday night, by the way, you idiot. Lead with something uplifting. I did. It was Commissar Fauci being a dildo. Malik Foxon says, yo, Rackets, could you pray for my dad? Looks like Corona Chan is a weirdo and is after that DILF next. Asked him if he was okay, and I couldn't help but chuckle when his response is, this sucks. It's like the flu. And internally, I was like, oh, really now? Yeah, buddy, I will absolutely pray for your dad. I hope he gets a speedy recovery. Very, very sincerely, me to you. Like, again, I think coronavirus as a national problem is way overblown. Coronavirus on an individual basis for people who get infected with it, that's real. That's real. Those are different questions. Silky Johnson says Fauci needs to be fired out of a trebuchet 2 towns over. Oh, in Minecraft, of course. Nick, if Biden wins and they try to impeach and remove him, I hope to Christ that the Senate does not impeach simply for the lulz and to watch Biden shit himself as president. Yeah, oh, that would be great. They should do that. Xander's Rants says, I see a message or an MGS right before your video. Robust safeguards help ensure the integrity of elections and results. I see where you stand. Also, I kept getting ads for this young Kim saying she's just as bad as Trump. I'm shocked of the outcome. Guess Orange County is based. I'm glad. You know, again, maybe we'll do that. Maybe they'll finalize the House results and will show just how badly Republicans beat the ever-loving shit out of Democrats in the House, much to the chagrin of pollsters. It's been a bloodbath in the House. It wasn't enough to overturn the House. I don't know that the Republicans had any legitimate hope of doing that. There was a long shot hope, but they just pounded them into the dirt. Silky Johnson says, please say as Kermit, forget about the fucking toe. Excuse me, sir. Could you please keep your voices down? This is a family restaurant. Oh, please, dear. For your information, the Supreme Court has roundly rejected prior restraint. Sorry. There you go. Forget about the fucking toe. I don't know what that even means. Mario Carter 13 says nothing equals impossible. All bets are off. Hindsight is 2020. Bad Vibe says, have you bought your salt futures yet? Bofe 2A wannabe Hunan Muhammad says, dangmit, stop being regular. Quit eating so much fiber. Vienticus Prime says, read B23-0171 in DC legislation entirely. I'll have to look into that. I'm not going to do it on the stream. Not on this stream. James Spoon says, Nick is trying to game the system by now intentionally losing the case. Lamau. Mike Mysterio 13 says, they were talking about making lists of Trump supporters and mandatory masks. I mean, I guess I'll be on it. What next? Trump supporters forced to wear MAGA patches on clothes? Just laugh and honk your nose. Is there any scenario in which you could see Trump winning by pushing for treason or sedition charges if the courts fail? We don't want that. Rumors are a Dominion server was seized in Germany today. Could be spicy. Could be spicy. Look, treason and sedition charges related to an established regime. Put everything you say into your third world government filter and how it looks from the U.S. Established ruling regime jails all defectors and detractors over allegations of fraud. We wouldn't accept that from any other country. Any other country would say that's despotic, tyrannical behavior. It's hard looking at it from the inside. It's just really, really not a good look in any other way. Eddie Mose 1000 says, Rage Against the Machine had it right. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Florian Aishitin says, just do what you're told. Germany still eats doo-doo for that mentality. Just saying. Space Monkey 0899 says, go woke, go broke, National Edition. Yeah, J.H. Choi says, world is right now laughing at the circus of an election in the USA. They should be. And you know why they should be? Because those fucking hypocrites all have voter ID and we can't. Fuck them. Fuck the rest of the world laughing at the U.S. election. Because when we try to do what they do, they say we're racist. Fuck off, rest of the world. You all can eat shit. JD, I did watch to the end of the Sidney Powell clip. We watched the whole thing that was in the link. Caliburn says, took the LSAT 3 days ago. Due to depression, I almost gave up on law school. No! Watching your stream helped me back into a goal mindset. Thanks, Nick. Hey, good luck on your results. I hope they come back well. If you want to do it, don't give up on it. Don't give up on it. Timmy Carl says, can you talk about the 12th Amendment? Van Jones is talking about it on a TED Talk before the election. Van Jones is an idiot and an insane person. Yes, I did talk about the 12th Amendment earlier. Maybe I should do a short video on the 12th Amendment. Vienticus Prime says, I stopped getting sick once I stopped hand washing. Lick them hands. Lick them hands. Blues Ranger BT player says, okay, I'm completely lost here. Small towns have no mandate, so that means mask. But I can't get into details. But my mom's work has been asked to help with a small town, a lot of COVID cases. It depends. It all depends where you go. Uriah Wright says, give me money, pay pigs. Quote, Nick. Yeah, damn it. Royal Wind says, please confirm unsupported rumors about things I want to be true. Thanks. I will. Rational Redneck says, use your lawyer powers to fix the world. Oh, good. Yes. Yes, I will go in and file all of the documents, I guess. The Captain Z says, it's 2016 all over again. My head says Dems will win, but heart says Trump will win. To the end, brother, to the end. Trump had to see this coming. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. The question is, what was his response? Right? Like, if we really want to get in there, what's in Trump's head? Was it winning the presidency, or was it propelling himself to a new social media empire to dwarf Twitter and Facebook combined and reign in an era of Trumpian communications? Like every trumpet. Oh my God! His Twitter platform is called Trumpet! Oh my God. And every trumpet that you send will have to contain the words beautiful or tremendous by your agreement to their terms of use. Trumpet, blare your message to the world. Much louder than Twitter. Why tweet when you could trumpet? Oh, Jesus Christ. Satan Swing says, check DMs about Seraphine. I will. I will. Tony Neve says, guy in charge of Dominion Security's name is Coomer. Of course it can. Of course it is. Of course it is. Ace of Spades says, you'll be able to watch forests in the Pacific Northwest disappear in real time as they print all that money. Yep. Glib Facsimile says, if this is a hoax, then the lockdowns are treason. I think the lockdowns are treason from jump. Even if it's not a hoax, I think the lockdowns are treason. That's me. But, you know. Internet Conman says, GOP voter fraud allegations have as much evidence as Kick Vic had. Don't me too your own election, Spurgs. Take the L and go organize to win next time. Marshall says, I've heard that they were establishing that only the state legislature could change the election. However, only the election committee decided to extend the election date to the 9th. Thoughts? That is an avenue. That is an avenue to challenge those ballots if they can segregate them out. And here's the crazy thing. That's what they won in Pennsylvania. Gosh. That's what they won in Pennsylvania. The state legislatures may not even be able to extend the deadline to the 9th. The state legislatures don't have authority to extend the deadline beyond the federal legislature's deadline, as far as I can tell. That hasn't been officially ruled out in the Supreme Court. The question is, are there enough votes that arrived after midnight to flip the election? In Wisconsin, yes. In Michigan, yes. Will they go for that strategy? I don't know. They should. They should try. At least try. Get it to the Supreme Court. Sueda's Lounge says Trump just needs to stop certification of electors. Win in House vote. All the swing states have Republican legislatures. He will win. He's failed at stopping the certification of electors in every state he's tried so far. And in every case. They're getting shot down left and right. They have to bring more evidence of fraud to stop it. And until they do, they don't have a chance doing that. Cal Clay says Trump is buying time for Liberty Prime completion. Uncivil Law says, I am drunk, lol. Attaboy. welcome. G-Man says, do you think the Biden campaign putting these crazy shit policies out there will be in the back of SCOTUS's mind? No. If nothing else, we still have faithless electors to fall back on, right? Right? Cry emoji. Archimedes says, Nick, did you see the Sidney Powell's interview on Fox? Well, we have now. Thank you. The Gaming Otter says, Trump's terrible treatment of John McCain caused him to lose Arizona for real. Archimedes says, Nick, you need to watch the Sidney Powell interview on Fox. Tony Neve says, Nick, I remember seeing that electors can't hold offices, titles, trust, or funding by the government. Shouldn't that disqualify Bill Clinton from being an elector? I don't think he currently holds office, title, or trust. I guess funding by the government, if he gets some, he gets health care and stuff like that, maybe. I don't know. Is he an elector in Arkansas or something? Or New York, I guess? Angry Baneling says, please do a Here's How Bernie Can Still Win next. No one important says, in bad Russian accent, Comrade Raketa, I love Mother, Father, America. Always do it old and not wait till 2021. Lockdown 2, boogaloo of electricity, what we don't have in Mother Russia. Michael Mason says, what's the most based and red-pilled state? Louisiana, I think. G-Man, probably Oklahoma. Oklahoma or Louisiana we'll go with. G-Man says, I think Pelosi is rooting for the 14th Amendment route so she can pardon her own war crimes while she's interim president. Chris M says, appreciate your timeliness always. Love the show. I'm 38. Always dreamed about laser school. Question, if you get to it, I'll probably catch it tomorrow when I rewatch. How did you find law school? Curious. Like, how did I find the law school I went to? It was the only one that matched my schedule that was at all within driving distance. I had kids and a wife. That was the only one I could go to. I applied to one school. I went to one seminar and I got accepted into that school and I went there. I didn't do the like, I'll get my rejection letter from Harvard thing that other people do. I didn't care about any of that. I didn't apply to any other school because I had a schedule to stick to. This is the only one that fit it. 200 Watt Studios is crack and whiskey. I think it's rum. I think she's had enough though. He sounded a little. Vienticus Prime says, read B231-0171 from DC legislation, 3 pages. Again, not tonight because it's late already. We're past 2 o'clock, but I'll take a look at it. Track Media Only says, they've been yelling for 4 years and they just want everyone else to whine and cry like they did. Bunch of kids that were not disciplined enough. Moist John says, police strike. We'll see if that happens. That would be really bad. Timothy Reaper says, have you seen the video Voting Wrong Turned Me White by Ryan Long? It's only 2 minutes. No, I haven't. But I will be with Ryan Long at the Dick Show Road Rage live in Tampa. So if you want to see me, Dick, Ryan Long, Ethan Ralph, Revenge of the Sis, Carl from Who Are These Podcasts, I think Mad Cucks as well, we'll all be there. Winnie the Blue says, did you guys ever think you'd be living in RoboCop 2? No. Timothy Reaper. Wait, I read that one. Damn it. Jack Riley says, an unintended side effect of no police. The EMS force doesn't have scene safety. They've just cut their EMS force as well while virtue signaling. Yep, we saw this up in Portland. If they don't have scene safety, they can't deploy. Liability issues with the EMS insurance. James Spoon says, I'll take when corrupt police are better than no police, Alex. Bad Kid Cade says, what's up, man? Love your vids. Hey, thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that. Oh, I missed this one from Mithran Imris. Says, but they said only Orange Man was challenging election stuff because sore loser. It's not like the mainstream media would misrepresent things, would they? Well, listen. But yeah, Bad Kid Cade, hey, thanks. Love you back, buddy. Hobo with a Shotgun says, a ditch and bullet for every Democrat and media lackey? Damn. I think there's plenty of Democrats who are fine, personally. But maybe you just mean the lackeys, the people running the show. Cathal Gravewalker says, welcome to hindsight, for it is both 2020 and a B. Damn. Bob the Troll King says, like we want a lawyer to fix the world. You absolutely do not. You don't want us to fix the world. We are a mess. We are a mess. And then AGK says, ever notice how the abolish police crowd is the same crowd that reports people for gamer words? Funny that. Yeah, they're terrible. They're terrible. Okay, there we go, guys. That's the stream. Let's hit this outro for you. I love you all. I respect you. I'm going to try and get at least one stream in this weekend since we had the two nights in a row off earlier this week, even if it's just a chill video game stream. But I would like to do... I would like to get maybe a fun guest on or something. I'll see what I can work out. But I hope you guys have a great night. And I hope you actually don't. I hope you join me on Twitch first for Halloween 4. And then have a great night. After we watch that and either Black Shampoo or Hollywood Boulevard. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Here comes that outro. We'll see you soon. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an ardbeg, a bow, more of love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we